Welcome to Smack This, the unofficial Godsmack podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things Godsmack. And this is episode 12 this week. I'm calling it the Boston Show because that's what I'm going to be talking about. Um, this week in Godsmack news, the band celebrated another milestone, the 24th anniversary of the debut album, 24 years ago. That's unreal. Um, but yeah, they celebrated that, and you can check out episode 3 of my review on that album. So give it a listen or watch. Um, so like I said, and that's it on Godsmack news. Like I said, this week is basically the Boston show, so it's going to be kind of a short podcast this week. I want to talk about the show and where it was at. Of course, it was in Boston, their hometown, at the new MGM Music Hall at Fenway Park, which is the home of the Boston Red Sox. There's a little um, arena across the street, and that's where they played, and they actually opened it up. So this was the very first show there. So Godsmack got to open it up for them. The stage was pretty much what they used during the radio festival. Uh, what I call the radio festival tour. They really didn't name it. Um, so it was basically that kind of stage. It was the amps on each side of Shannon. Um, the half of the album cover of When Legends Rise. Now they didn't do any pyro during the show, and that could have been a building fire marshal code thing. I don't know. That's kind of a guess of why they didn't use pyro, but this was amazing lighting rig that they used. The lights were just absolutely fantastic. Um, they used lasers in this show, and they hadn't done lasers since the Faceless tour that I can think of. So yeah, that was really cool to see. Um, and then they had the lights in front of the amps, and what looked like they were on top of the amps. Um, so yeah, it was really cool looking, and even without the pyro, it still looked like a great show. Um, Before the band hit the stage, they still did the black curtain with the new Godsmack Big G logo, and when that dropped, the band started playing. Um, they did do 13 songs, so it was kind of a regular set list. And they did bring back the Battle of the Drums, which they didn't do during the radio festival tour, so they brought this back. Um, so I don't know if that means that it's going to stay because they got the Ocean City, Maryland show in September. And they also got the Vegas show in September. Um, so yeah, it's kind of got me wondering, and yeah, it's going to be good. Um, all right, so let's talk about the set list. Uh, like I said, they did 13 songs. Um, the first song to kick off the show was 1,000 Horsepower. Now, they hadn't done this since the 1,000 Horsepower tour. Um, so, yeah, it was interesting that I saw that was on the set list as the beginning song of the show. It's usually second or third in the set list since the Horsepower tour. So, yeah, to kick it off with that was just absolutely amazing. Um, they had these red lights in the beginning of the song. There's the engine roaring. Um, they usually do a little bit of the red, but this was like really bright red, and it would come on and go off as the engine roared, and then the band kicked in with the song. Like I said, it's a great way to start the show. The crowd was very energetic, um, almost insane. It was great to see. The second song that they played was Keep Away off the debut album. Again, the lights were awesome in it. They were kind of strobe lights and they moved all over the place. The great energy from the crowd, and the crowd was singing along. It was really cool to see. The third song that they did was Crying Like a Bill. And this time they brought in the lasers on this song. So this is the first time you get to see them. Um, Again, great lighting. Um, it was so crazy good. It's just really good the way they set this up. So it's kind of got me wondering if this is going to be the lighting rig that they take out over to Europe in October and South America in November. The fourth song that they did was off the new album. Well, still, I guess, the new album, When Legends Rise. Unforgettable. That song is so good live. I really love that song. Um, the crowd loved it. They were singing along, fist in the air, and yeah, it was really cool. The fifth song that they did was Awake from the Awake album. Again, I mean, this song is just so good live. There's my catchphrase for the beginning of this episode. But yeah, I mean, it's just great. Again, no pyro. Usually there's pyro at the end of the song, but they didn't need it. Sixth song was the title of the last album or new album, however way you want to look at it, When Legends Rise. And again, it's a great song live. I love this song a lot. Um, what really surprised me of it was how low it was on the set list, because like I said, Legends Rise tour, um, even during the radio festival thing that they did, uh, it's kind of up in the top three of the set list. So this time they moved it to number 6, and so yeah, it fits in really good. Um, Song number 7 was Something Different. Again, they brought in the lasers on this song. Um, slowly pumps up the crowd, dedicates it to the women in the crowd. In fact, he as the lighting guy, turn off all the lights so it's pitch black dark, and asked the fans to light up the room using their cell phones, flashlights. And yeah, that looks so cool. Song number 8 that they did was Speak off the 4 album. Uh, Again, this 4 album I don't think gets a whole lot of credit. Um, I don't know if they don't like playing stuff off that album. I don't know, but it was great to see that they brought it back, because during the radio festival thing, they had it and then they dropped it and then they brought it back towards the end. So yeah, I'm interested to see if this stays in the set list of these next 2 shows in September. Song number 9 was the icon song. I call it the icon song, and that is Voodoo. Um, Again, amazing live, singing along. Yeah, it's just great. It's a great song. Um, it's so good. There you go. Then we get to the Battle of the Drums. Um, I watched this YouTube clip, which is what I did with all these songs. I watched clips of it. Uh, so all you fans that posted those videos, I want to say thank you. But yeah, it's always awesome to see the Battle of the Drums. What's really funny is, and you can go back to the Oracle tour on down to now. If you see these Battle of the Drums live shots, watch the security guards that are in front of the stage. So obviously they're facing the crowd, but they can still kind of hear it even though they got those earplugs in. But what's funny is you'll see some security guards just kind of nod their head and yeah, or turn around and look, or it's kind of funny to watch. But yeah, it was great. Shannon comes out, and then Sully comes out on the other side. Drum fills back and forth. They face each other a few more uh, drum fills, and then they turn to the crowd, and then they do that drum melody thing. This time they played Back in Black, walk that led into Walk This Way by Aerosmith. Back in Black by AC/DC, I should say. Walk This Way by Aerosmith. Then they went into Enter the Sandman by Metallica. And then that led into Moby Dick by Led Zeppelin. And then, of course, that ends like that always ends, which is Tom Sawyer by Rush, where the drums spin around. Uh, but yeah, it was great. It was great to see. It was kind of refreshing to see, too, after watching the radio festival shows. Um, so maybe that's why they didn't do it on these festivals, was to kind of keep it fresh, keep it new. Um, yeah, I'm anxious to see if that changes as well, as far as the medley part. Um, then it went into song number 10. They did Whatever to end the set, the regular set. The energy was insane. Sully actually did a lot of joking around towards the middle of the song, or towards the end, I should say. Um, had the house lights come up and asking some of the fans who were still sitting down, which you wouldn't catch me sitting down at their show. But yeah, he was calling a couple of them out for it. He was talking about, he made some jokes about staying up to 2 or 3 a.m. watching the Cindy Crawford wrinkle go away cream. But he said that he has bought and used. Um, and then there was some funny other stuff with Shannon on that song. Uh, the crowd, him singing in the crowd response, and Shannon didn't think they were loud enough, and Sully kind of called him out on it, and yeah, it was kind of funny to watch. But yeah, it was great. It's really good. And then the encore songs were song number 11 was Under Your Scars, which is why they were there, to raise money for the Scars Foundation. Amazing song. I love this song. It's so good live. It's great on the album. It's fantastic when Sully just plays it by himself, just on the piano. It's really good. He also talks about the Scars Foundation itself, which is a nonprofit organization that they formed in 2019 for bullyism, alcoholism, drug addiction, depression, suicidal thoughts. I mean, just the list goes on, and I think that's fantastic. If you want to know more about the Scars Foundation, it's actually on their website, and scarsfoundation.org, so check it out. Then they did number 12 was Bulletproof off the Legends Rise as well. Love this song live. The video is fantastic. If you've never seen that video, it's hilarious. Um, yeah, it's really good. You got to hear it and watch it. And then the last song that they did was the last encore song, and of course that was I Stand Alone. And it was great to see that they put that. Not that I didn't like it at the beginning of the show, that like they did during the radio festival, but it's more of a closer song for me. Maybe because that's where they've had it for so many years. So, but yeah, it was great to see. Uh, it's excellent live. The crowd was awesome in it that I watched. Yeah, it's great. Can't go wrong with that song, especially live. Um, and that's about it. That's all I got for this week so far. Um, It's episode 12. Like I said, it's a short one. The Boston Review. Um, Next week, I'm going back to the discography. So, episode 13 will be the Live and Inspired double CD. One of them being a live album, the other CD is a EP. And I'll probably not go big detail on the live album as much as I will the EP. But yeah, so that's it for this week. Again, I want to thank everybody who watched last week's episode, who's liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. Let's keep this ball rolling. And sorry, going to have to move this for a minute. And yeah, so that's it for this week. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Don't forget to tell somebody who likes Godsmack, likes to listen about Godsmack, talk about Godsmack. Let's keep this ball going. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. And you just got